Hey folks, it's Carlos once again, and I know I've been gone for a while. I've been very busy, lots of things going on. So today I want to talk to you guys about traveling to Mexico, and more importantly, the talk about the group of people that actually died going to Mexico. Well, two of the people of the party died in Mexico. Um, to know the history about Mexico, as far as the narcos are concerned, it kind of relates to Colombia a little bit, because back in the day, 20 years ago, Colombia had a big issue with narcos, and basically Colombia went to war with the narcos, and it's just very dirty war. They got them out of their government, and a lot of those narcos ended up going to uh, Mexico. Not all, but some um, went to Mexico. So Mexico has a huge corruption problem. The narcos sort of influence the government, local municipalities, um, and in a lot of cases, the narcos they do a lot of good in the communities that they're in. When I say good, I mean to say is, like, for example, there are certain neighborhoods that the government does not provide aid to or support logistics, et cetera, et cetera. And because of that, the narcos have been chipping in with that, or taking over that role. Um, if you go to Mexico, there are even shrines dedicated to to narcos. I'm not condoning. I'm not saying it's right. I'm just explaining, the situation over there. So, number one, at all costs, don't drive to Mexico. Don't do it. It's not a good idea. If you have a surgery that's scheduled in Mexico because of a reason I say is because of how unstable um, things are, had been for quite a while. It's good to have that medical team dispatch a ride to you. Sometimes they have shuttle services, things like that, that pick you up from the airport. Um, and I think that the reason that they thought it was okay to drive to Mexico is because maybe they traveled to other um, Hispanic countries, and well, they had friends that and they think it's all the same. Not all Hispanic countries, not all Latino countries are the same. Um, Culturally, even linguistically, there's different dialects, different belief systems, different culture. For example, um, I lived in Colombia for a little bit, and when I was in Mexico, the culture is a lot different. The Colombian culture is a very friendly culture, um, very open. Um, they're a little bit more friendlier than, say, the Mexican culture. Not to say Mexican culture is bad, but they can be a little bit uh, more distant, if you know what I mean. A little more cautious socially. Um, and in my experience, and the same thing too. For example, when I was in um, Ecuador. I mean, it was completely different than when I was in Mexico. For example, when I was in Mexico, I remember the people in the resort, they're very professional. Um, I'm not say they were mad at me, but they had very strict about their rules. they warned me a lot about going outside of the resort. I mean, a lot. Didn't even matter if you spoke Spanish or not. They literally warned me like, at all costs, please don't go to downtown Cancun. Don't go to other areas, et cetera, et cetera. Even though you speak Spanish, it can be very, very um, dangerous. This is what, you know, they told me, and me going through that, I'm just like, okay, I'm going to listen to these people. So I'm not going to chance it just because, I'm a little adventurous. And they told me that if I go to excursions in Mexico, please go with a group um, uh, that's chartered, pay the money, because if you do something sort of on your own and you don't know those people involved or what have you, they could be connected with something that you don't want to be connected to, and it could be potentially dangerous. You could lose your life. Um, I love traveling. Traveling is good, but just be very careful. Mexico is going through a whole lot right now. I don't know when, they'll get through this little phase, but yeah, you have to be very, very cautious. If you're in Mexico, stay on the resort. Um, don't venture off the beaten path, because you heard about you know, the four people that drove down there, two of them got killed. I mean, the interesting thing is that um, the narcos apologized and gave up the five guys out of their group to give to the local authorities. I guess that's their sense of their code. They broke their code, et cetera, et cetera. Well, I mean, with that being said, you don't want to be wrapped up and mixed up in all that. And some more advice when you're going sort of overseas. If you're going overseas and you like to smoke marijuana, you like to engage in shrooms, you like to do different types of drugs, or what have you. I'm not trying to tell you what to do with your life, but when you're overseas, um, don't buy drugs. Just don't do it. It's not a good idea. I personally don't use any type of intoxicants, any type of drugs. Um, but and the reason that is, um, I tell you not to do that. You're probably safer doing it in America, is because some of the laws in certain countries can be very, very strict. And also, if you're buying marijuana or heavy drugs in another country, what have you, um, there's a good chance that you could be kidnapped, held for ransom, because they're gonna be like, hey, this is a gringo, it could expose you to things. You could be, when it comes to women, you could end up becoming a victim of sex trafficking. These are real concerns. This is not something that's I'm just pulling out of my hat. This is from experience. I did work in security for a number of years. I did do bodyguard work. So just be very, very careful. Enjoy yourself, but just be very, very, very careful. And there are many, many countries that you can, actually visit to. Just when you go to Mexico, be very, very cautious. Be cautious in general anywhere, but um, it is really, really unstable over there, right now. And be safe. All right, so this is Carlos with Travel and News YouTube channel. I might end up changing my channel to the Carlos Cruz Show. Please like and subscribe, and be safe and be kind to others. Bye.